Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. After our adventure yesterday in trying to defend America from the America bombers, we're back into a German Nightfighter during World War II over Europe as we play Nightfighter Ace from Compass Games. We're continuing our background playthrough of this that we started back in November, I think it was, where once again we are a pilot in the Luftwaffe as a night fighter. We've gotten 2 kills on this so far, and we had one very quiet sortie back in August of 1943. So let's move back over to the main area and check out our shot, because there's something new I'm testing, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. An observant user probably spotted this in the product unboxing that I filmed last night, but in case you haven't, I'll point it out here, where I've actually changed out my window dressings, where instead of having, it's not wanting to show, it's reflecting here, but basically what I'm trying to point out, and it's not pointing at, oh, here we go. Basically what I did was I changed out my blinds for drapes last night. I've had enough videos where I had the windows open to let some fresh air in and I could hear the blinds rattling. That and having problems with having to have maintenance come over quite a few times to deal with the blinds made me finally decide, okay, we're going to put in drapes instead. So I'm going to be testing the lighting on that to see how things look. So far it's fine, but I definitely want to get a feel for how it looks when the sun comes up. Because one thing I've been noticing with the new drapes is when the light shines on it directly, there's a bit more light coming in than I would like. So I want to see how that looks which is why I'm hoping this is going to be a little bit of a longer session of sorties. But looking at the shot over here, I think we're all set to get into this playthrough, so let's jump in with our first sortie. This is our 6th sortie in August 1943, so let's give it a roll and see where the Allies are targeting this time. We're on our raid chart. A 7 says they're going for Berlin again. This is the 3rd sortie that they've sent toward Hamburg. Actually, no, it's Berlin they're going for. I said Berlin, and I started writing Hamburg in my logbook. No special modifiers here, so they're going for Berlin. I actually need to bring the ship mat in shot now. I don't think there are any. Nope, no special modifiers there, so I'm moving the ship mat real quick into shot. And we'll leave that off to the side. I don't think we roll for weather. Oh, we do roll for weather. So I've got that ready to go. Now we'll roll for the D10. Where's my weather chart? Is it on the other side here? Oh, no. So actually over here. So now we're rolling for weather. 3 says it's good weather. Which means the raid won't be canceled. So we'll move to Berlin. Actually, we start there, so basing from Dutch, we'll move to Berlin first, and we see if we fell for, actually check for random electronics failure first. We need 2d6 for that. It's been a while since I played this game, so kind of leaning on the sequence of play a little bit more. So actually we should be at the base yet. Alright, that's a 9, so no effect. So nothing randomly shorted out on us. So now we move from the takeoff endurance box to the raid location. So that's over to Berlin. And we need to see if we fall for a spoof raid. Fortunately, as this is still 1943, we don't have any kind of modifier as far as falling for the raid, but we do want to see a 2 to 9 on this chart. That's a 6, so we don't fall for the spoof raid. Fortunately, Unterofficer Schultz is pretty smart about that. So now we go through the interception like normal. We go to France first. And then where's our roll for... It's not that... Oh, it's interception. So we roll a d10. A 9 to 10 gives us an interception. That's a... Whoa, that's a 1. I don't think I've ever seen that. That's unsure of location. No contact in this endurance box or the next. How am I noting this? Oh, right. So... Berlin. No contact. Which means there will also be no contact in Munich. Since I'm unsure of the location. And the blank box. So basically we go straight here. Five is no interception, which means we're going to be getting ready to land this thing. No contact. Repeat until has moved to the landing box. So we move to the landing box. Roll for the landing weather. We'll be finding out what we're trying to put down in. That'll be another D10 roll. We're trying to put down in good weather. So once again, no modifier on landing. So now our landing roll is a... Trying to remember what chart it's on. Ah, here we are. That's a 2d6. So we want to see a 2 to 10 for a safe landing. And once again, no modifiers here. That's a 4, so we put down easily. All right, we'll make a note of another quiet sortie for sortie number 5, and that was a very uneventful sortie. So let's go into August 43 sortie number 7. The night status for this one is going to be a dark night, so we're going to be making interceptions at -1, at a -1 modifier. So we're technically back at base right now, so we're back in the hangar. Current base, okay. So now we're rolling for our raid target once again. This time the Allies are looking to go. 6, they're going for Nuremberg, which is Frankfurt. URG or ERG, okay. I'm just going to make some notes here. Okay, so we've got that rolled. We need to roll for the weather. Takeoff weather, that's a D10 roll. That's a 4, so once again we're taking off in good weather. Moving to the takeoff box, we gotta see what kind of modifier, what kind of random electronics failure we have for that. A 3 says our main radar is out. That could be a big problem. So main radar is inoperable. That seems very troubling. Here we go. So main radar, what kind of problem is that going to cause? How is there no note on here? Is it inoperable for the rest of the sortie? That's, I know. What I'm trying to find is what effect that's going to have, because I know that's going to be... Unless there's, I wonder if there's something listed in the rule book. Of what each system does for you. It's not on this chart, of course it's not. But whoa, it wouldn't be on there. That was the pilot chart I just got a hold of. But yeah, I want to see what the radar being out does to us. Obviously the answer is going to be nothing good, but I know a lot of these other games have a listing of what each electronics failure does to you. No optional rules, it wouldn't be there. Sequence of play. Aircraft damage listings. It's probably, okay, so modifier looks like it's going to affect us on interception. That's what I was trying to figure out. So it's going to roll, so we're rolling interception at -1. We're actually rolling at -2 now. Because we were rolling at a previous -1 because it was a dark night. Which means we're -2 for dark. So that's a net -2 is what we're at there, just to make sure it's clear there. So now we're moving to the Frankfurt box, and we have to check for a spoof raid. So once again, that's 2d6. Six says we don't fall for the spoof raid, which means we'll go into our Frankfurt box and we'll roll what I'm expecting to be a quiet sortie now that I know I'm making my interception rolls at -2. A 9, which modifies down to a 7 for no interception. Then we're going to the Bremen box. So we're moving there next. A 10, I believe, is always a natural 10 is always at least an interception. So we do roll an interception in Bremen. Even with our modifiers, let's see what we're going after. So that flips over our raid chart to our target chart, and now we have to roll 2d6. A 5 says we're going after a Halifax H-25. So somehow we managed to find something even with our radar out of commission. So with that, let's bring the bomber target mat in shot. All right, so I've got the bomber target mat in shot. We're going for the Halifax. Our speed is 17, theirs is 14, so we have to determine what we're using, and we're going to be starting at long range. I'll use all my forward weapons. And I'm going to aim at the... Let's aim at the... let's aim at the airframe. So now we'll flip our first card from the combat deck to determine who's firing first. I'm not spotted, I fire first, and the bomber's corkscrewing next round. So we'll draw another card, and whichever is the highest threshold we clear is the firepower we'll draw from. So we're going to use 1 ammo from the forward cannon, which means we'll be using a total of 18 firepower. I'll put that up there. So our card from here is drawing from 16, so we'll draw 4 hits. And since we were aiming at so 4 hits, which is actually reduced down, I believe, to 3 because we're at long range, right? I'm just double checking. Yes, -1. So we only get 3 hits. Which means we'll have to roll on our hit chart, which I believe is this one right here. No. Oh, yeah, it is. It's on here. Bomber random damage, 3d10 rolls. So we're aiming at the airframe. Which means we'll give this a roll. Our first hit. 5 will be at the controls. Okay, so the controls are hit, which is right there. Our second hit, we'll put the D10 back in. The tower is just off. His base is barely in shot. And 8 is the port engine is hit. So damage on the port engine. Making a note in my logbook. And the third hit four is a random wing hit. Odds will hit the port wing, evens will hit the starboard. Odds will hit the port wing. All right. Let me grab my pen so I can make another note. And then for the Halifax combat at long range, we'll draw another card and see how many hits they deal on defensive fire at the bottom of the card. No hits. Okay, that's cool. All right, so the bomber is going to be corkscrewing this round, which means we're reducing hits by 1. I'm going to move into medium range and use my forward weapons again. Combat's considered to be simultaneous in this pass, but the rest of the point. So, yep, we're gonna have another round of combat. Bomber's corkscrewing for -1 hit. So, round 2, we're gonna stick with the forward guns. And we're gonna stay with aiming at the airframe. Okay, just double checking something here. Okay, so we're going to take it. So we're going to take both off the same card this time, since it's supposed to be simultaneous at this point. All right, seeing what the fighters are doing. We're using 18 firepower once again, so I'll remember to flip that over to a 1, and we'll find at 16 it's a group hit, and we'll take 3 hits. Gun jam, roll for random if more than 1 firing. All right, so how do we roll for a gun jam? Let me just look at that. If only one is gun and is firing at jams. Okay, so we're going to be rolling. So we dealt an airframe hit, but we have to cancel one of them. So 1-2 will cancel the controls hit. 3-4 will cancel the airframes hit. 5 through 10 will cancel one of the random hits. That's a 5, so we'll cancel one of the random hits. And the bomber will be dealing us back 3 hits. All right, so the GP hit, which means, like I said, we'll be dealing out controls, airframe, and we need to roll for 2 random hits, which I'll do here in a second. So controls, airframe, which actually let me grab another damage marker for that. We're going to roll for 2 random hits on the bomber since we were aiming at the airframe. Eight is the port engine again. Do we just hit the other one? I think we do. Actually, we probably should have rolled for that one on the port engine. Odds will take this one out. Evens will take the other. We'll hit the other one. Evens will hit the other engine. And then our last random hit. 8 is another port engine again. So we'll wipe. So odds will wipe this one out. Evens will wipe engine 2 out. Evens will wipe engine 2 out. And then he's dealing us 3 hits as well. I believe that roll's a little bit different for us. I believe it's going to be the 2d6 again and combine them. Yes, it will be that. So we'll be using our 2d6 like we've done before. Black as 10s, white as 1s. And now the sun's starting to come up, and so far it doesn't seem to be interfering too much. Let's see what we get here. That's a 25, which is our port engine is hit now. That's not good. All right, so let me just note here. So both of those were port engine hits. Bomber deals a... Oh, I got to roll for a gun jam. Let me do that first. So as far as the guns that are jamming, the MG-17 will be odds and the forward cannon will be evens. Evens, our forward cannon's jammed. That's a problem. That's our best gun. Hopefully there's a way we can get that unjammed. Oh, apparently not. Apparently it's jammed for the rest of the sortie, but our 25 was the port engine jammed for us. That's not good. Make a note in the logbook. Roll again for our next hit. A 25 is our port engine's out again, which I believe means we just get shot down. We're going to end up shot down here, I think. No, it's just going to make landing very difficult. Which might be a temptation to, which might be a good reason to break off, actually. But we'll see what happens on this last hit. .36, actually no, that's a 63. Crew injury, oh fun. So we'll roll that in the way we have been before. Crew injury. We'll use the 2 white d6 for which crew member is affected, and the black d6 for the severity of the injury. Nine is our radar operator, and he takes a severe wound. That's fun. Where's our wounds? Ah, here we are. Couldn't find them. Severe wound. Here we go. So our radar operator is critical, which is not really doing that much right now because the radar was taken out on the runway anyway. All right, so we could close in. So now we could close in. But I think the better idea here is for us to. Do we want to try to take this thing out, or do we want to just break off here? I think we're probably better off just breaking off here, especially with an engine already out. With an engine already out and my system's not in great shape, I think I'm just going to break off. There's an entire possibility that the bomber may still crash, but I got to double check how that works. That's British Nightfighter combat. Ah, here we are. So we didn't inflict enough damage to shoot it down, but on a D10 roll of a 1 to 2, actually that's a 1 to 3 because we have an engine out and the control system is 1 point short of aircraft destruction. So we got a roll of 1 to 3 to still get this thing to blow up. That's a 4, so we just miss. So the Halifax will make it back. That's unfortunate, but no help for that at this point. Now we'll go back to our interception. Since we're breaking off combat, I'll pull all that out of shot in a second. Actually, let's pull it out of shot now. So we'll come back with the main map in shot. I would not remotely mind having no interceptions for the rest of the sortie. I think we can just abort the sortie, can't we? Because I would be very tempted. Yes, I can abort the sortie, so we'll go straight to landing. Since I'm low on ammunition and I'm fairly damaged at this point. So we're just going to go straight. We're not going to go to Munich. We're going to go straight to landing. Our ship took a bit of punishment and we've got an engine out already. So now we have to roll for landing weather. Let's see what we're trying to land in. We're trying to land in good weather, so at least we're not going to have any kind of modifier to this. Landing roll. We're already landing at a plus... We're landing at a +2 because we've got an engine out, and there was another reason we were modifying with a... Actually, I think it's just +1 because the landing gear's out. And because the port engine's out. So a +1. Eight plus 1 is 9, so that's a safe landing. Okay, so this is sortie number 6, which means it's another quiet one. So I'll get set up for our last sortie of August 1943. Our plane's back in the hangar, and I think everything's been repaired. Right. Yes. Let me just look here. I'm just looking here to see. I'm pretty sure everything gets repaired coming out of the sortie. I don't think I lose a sortie, do I? No, I don't. I think everything gets repaired. So which means we can take that off, and we can take all of our inoperable stuff off, reload our forward guns. So we have a new radar operator, not that he had any skills anyway. So that goes back there. Actually, those go back there. And this is going to be our last sortie for August 1943. So let's see where the raid's targeting this time. That's a 10. They're going for Berlin again. They sure like going after Berlin, but I can't exactly say I'm surprised. Okay, so we have to check for weather. That's going to be a straight D10 roll. 9 is bad weather. Great. Right. Okay, so I believe the raid would only get canceled if the weather is socked in. Let's see, sortie preparation, no. Means socked in means it's canceled. So weather is going to be terrible. And we have no moon, so we're rolling interceptions at -2, which means we'll move to the Dutch base. Actually, we don't move there yet. We have to roll for random electronics failure first. So that's a roll of 2d6. We had our radar just get taken out on our last raid. Hopefully that doesn't happen here. That's a 5, so no effect. That's very welcome. Okay, so now we move from the hangar box to the raid endurance box. Now I have to check for spoof raids. Hopefully Schultz hasn't fallen for a spoof raid yet. Let's hope that streak continues here. 2d6. That's a 7, so we don't fall for the spoof raid. So now we start in Berlin. We're rolling -2 on interceptions because it's a dark night, which means this should be another fairly quiet sortie. But let's find out. 8 -2 is 6, will be no interception. The moon is not giving us anything to work with. Bremen. That should be there. Moving over to the Bremen box. Nine -2 is 7. That'll also modify down to no interception. And that'll bring us to Munich. Oop, come on. There we go. Rolling in Munich. That's a 5, which modifies down to a 3. Also no interception. And the blank box, which is probably just generic Germany, I would think. A 10 is an interception because remember, a natural 10 always results in an interception. So somehow we managed to find something. Let's see what we found here. Boxcars, uh-oh, we found a mosquito. That's not good. Mosquito 2NF. That's a problem. So, with that, I need to bring the bomber target mat back in shot. Combat against a mosquito is quite different from combat against the regular bombers. I have to roll for initiative to see who gets the initiative. Basically, if I get the initiative, combat is over because my plane isn't fast enough to catch up with the mosquito. So it's a 1 to 5. The British get the initiative. 6 and up, I do. That's a 7, so I will get the initiative, but as I'm not fast enough to catch up, the encounter is just over. With that, that'll bring the operations map back in shot. We have to roll for landing weather. Hopefully we're not trying to put down in weather too terrible, but let's find out. Weather improves to good, so we aren't trying to put down in anything terrible. And then for our actual landing roll, we need our 2d6, and I don't think we have any modifiers. Do we? No. Thankfully, the weather improving got rid of that. That's a 9, so that's a safe landing. And now that we're at the end of the month, I believe there's a... Apparently it's not here, but there's a... I bet they use the month to track the phases of the moon. I know in some of the other games, there's a... Especially with the America Bomber games, there's a research track that you can advance at the end of each month, but it doesn't look like that will be the case here, so I'm not too terribly worried about that. But that will do it for August 1943, so let's get ready for our first sortie in September 1943. Alright, getting ready for our first raid of 1943. It would help if I flipped the raid of September 1943. It would help if I flipped the chart. Let's see where the Allies are going for this time. A 4 looks like they're actually giving Port Berlin a break this time. They're going for Bochum and the Ruhr. Just making some notes here. So Bochum and the Ruhr. Oh, here it is. So that's what they're looking for. They're making... So intercepts at -1. Let's see what the weather is on liftoff. So we need a D10 roll for that. That's an 8, so we're lifting off in poor weather. Now we have to roll for a random electronics failure. That's a 2d6. A 3 says our radar's out again. Great. Which means we're making our interception rolls at another -1. Delightful. So main radar is inoperable, which means we're relying on fool luck basically to get through this. So now we'll move over to the Ruhr box. And now we roll a 2d6 to see if we fall for a spoof raid. That would be just my luck right now. And 8 says we don't fall for the spoof raid. So that's fortunate. Which means now we start rolling for interception, which remember, we're rolling -2 on this. -1 because of the Dark Knight, -1 because our radar's out. So let's see what happens here. I'm just moving my logbook over. Let's see, that's a 7, which will modify down to a 5 for no interception. That'll bring us into the Berlin box. If I can ever get a hold of it with my tweezers. Next roll is a 9, which will modify down to a 7. Once again, no interception. Going to Bremen. Seven minus 2 is 5. Once again, no interception. Munich. Nine minus 2 is 7. Once again, no interception. We'll call that default Europe. There we are. Nine minus 2 is 7. Once again, no interception. So we're straight back into landing. Let's see if the weather improved from poor to make landing a little bit easier on us. That's a 6, so it's good weather trying to land. Now we have our actual roll, which will be 2d6. That's a 7, so we have a safe landing. Another uneventful sortie for us. So that'll bring us into our second sortie of September 1943. Let's see where the Allies are looking to go for this raid. Let's see, that's a 4. They're going right back to Bochum again. Seeing as I've been fighting my radar this session, that seems like a good thing for them to do. Thankfully, we have no special modifiers on the moon this time. So we'll call it normal moon, essentially. Next, we have to roll for the weather. So let's see what we get here. That's a 3, so we're lifting off in good weather. Let's see if all of our systems cooperate with us this time. They haven't been. Nine is no effect, so we've got everything at full strength this time. Which will bring us to our raid location, so we need to see if we fall for a spoof raid. That's a 4, so we don't fall for the spoof raid. Which means we'll start with our interceptions at the Ruhr, and we actually have to roll normal interceptions this time. Novel concept, right? That's a 4, so we still roll no interception. Going to Berlin next. Also no interception. Bremen. Three is a no interception. I was getting alarmed because I know low rolls are bad. Munich. Also no interception. And default Europe. Our last box of the sortie. Also no interception. Which means now we're about to land. So let's see what our weather is. In a way, I'm glad that it's been kind of a quiet session of sorties. Mostly so I can get the feel with filming with the drapes in here now. But on another, I kind of want to be able to shoot some things. But let's see what kind of weather we're going into. We're going into good weather. So now we have our landing roll, which is a straight 2d6 roll. Flip that over to the landing chart. A 5 says we get on the ground. Another quiet sortie for the day. We've been having a lot of those. I suppose that's just the nature of the beast and you kind of hope for it to be quiet. But that's another sortie in the books. Let's go for September 1943, our third sortie. All right, we're back in the hangar, so we're ready for our third sortie of September 1943. The Allies this time, Snake Eyes, they're going for Berlin. Here I thought they were giving poor Berlin a breather. Moon is bright this time, so we're rolling our interceptions at +1. But we need to roll for the weather. That's a 9, so we're looking at bad weather. But it's not bad enough to cancel the raid, barely. Now we have our random electronics failure that we need to check for. Let's see what happens here. Five is no effect. Okay, so now we move to the raid location box. And we have to see if we fall for a spoof raid. Should be there. Seven says we do not fall for the spoof raid. So now I'll start rolling for interception, which these are all at +1. So we need the D10. I'll flip over to the interception chart so I can actually see the right chart. 5 + 1 is 6, is still no interception. Moving to Bremen. Seven + 1 is 8, still no interception. Moving to Munich. Oh boy, a natural 1 is always unsure of location. So, yeah, we got lost. Which means we'll be treating both this and the blank Europe box as no contact. Which will move us straight to trying to land. So now we have to roll for landing weather, which is another D10. We were taking off in bad weather to start this raid. Let's see what our weather is, trying to put this thing back down in the Netherlands. And it's still poor weather, which is only a +1 modifier. So now for our landing roll, let's see what we roll on a 2d6. And remember, we're rolling this landing at a +1. 7 + 1 is 8 is still a safe landing, though. And that's yet another quiet sortie in the books. So I forgot to come over to the log. And looking at this, I think I've pretty much accomplished what I wanted to with this video, so that will do it for this playthrough of Nightfighter Ace. I could easily continue with more sorties, but they've been very uneventful today, so I think we'll call it a video there. But I will be back later this afternoon to play Terra Mystica. Tomorrow, we're probably going to continue our visit to the Terra Mystica world as we play Gaia Project. That's tomorrow morning. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.